Hey guys, in this lecture we're going to continue our discussion about the variables and the data types. So in the previous lecture we talked about the different types. We said there are two types, primitive data types and object data types. So in this lecture we're going to have we're going to be practicing these 8 primitive data types, or at least the most important ones. So we said that one of them is integer. So to declare a variable, you have to start with the data type, int, and then the name of the variable. It's called identifier. It could be any name. And then you assign a value to it. So for example, 5. Here we are storing the value 5 in the variable x. In the variable x, and the data type is integer. Okay. Now we can print the value, make sure that the value is 5. So if we print x and run the program, say it's going to show 5. That means the value stored in this variable is 5. Also, you can choose another type. Let's say double y equals say 8.6. Since it's a decimal, so it accepts a decimal number. Okay, so if we print this, that's going to print 8.6. Now, what happens if we use a decimal in the first variable? Let's say, for example, I put 0.6. So is this unacceptable or no? So let's try it. So if we build the program, see it says incompatible type. So there is an error here. It says incompatible type. That means the data type is integer, but the value is decimal. So there is a mismatch here. Okay, and then next to it says possible lossy conversion. That means there is a loss of information. Okay, because when you try to save 5.6, only the 5 is an integer. That means 0.6 will be lost. And then in some situation, that 0.6 is a big difference. Like for example, maybe in the medical field, that 0.6 is the difference between success and failure. So Java does not allow this to happen. Now, what about the other way around? Can we save an integer in a double variable? Okay, let's see. Let's change the first one back. I will try to run the program, so there is no error. That means it is okay to save. Why? Because every integer is double, but not the other way around. A double is not an integer. So you can think of it as like a small box. Integer is a small box, and double is a bigger box. So you can fit a small box inside a big box, but you cannot fit a big box inside a small box. Remember, we talked about this. We said that double is 64 bits, and an integer is 32 bits. So you can fit 32 inside 64, but you cannot fit 64 into 32 bits. Okay. Also, another variable is, let's say, char. Char is one single character. So let me call the variable letter, and you use single quote for this. So for example, let me have this value. That means the letter A. And this accepts only one single character. If you try to add another character, you're going to get an error. So if I put this and I try to build a program, see, I'm going to get an error. Why? Because it allows only one single character, whatever that character might be. It could be a number, it could be a space, as long as it is one single character. Okay, so here we're saving space. Okay, the value is space. Okay, another type is Boolean. So let's say there is a variable called found, and we're going to assign it one of two values, either true or false. Okay? These are the only two values that you can use for a variable of type Boolean. Okay, so if I try to print it, letter So it's going to print the letter A. Okay, letter A, and then for sound, it's going to print the value of this variable, which is true. Okay, so are the main data types. As I said, there are 8 of them, but only these 4 will be tested on in the AP exam. Okay, so this is how you declare and you assign a value to the variable. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about variables and data types as we go along. So I'll see you in the next lecture.